News from Vinegar Syndrome is The House Where Death Lives. This is one of those rare movies that I absolutely hated. I just could not be drawn into its melodramatic story throughout this. I was expecting some kind of horror, and I got some drawn out drivel that does pick up in the final third, but by that point it's really too little, too late. There is a fundamental lack of pacing or interest in the story here. It opens up with Meredith, a young woman who's writing to her father, telling the story about their mother's death and what had happened to her.
To tell you how she died, I'll have to start at the beginning.
Which is going to tell the tale of her going to work at a rich family's house, looking after the patriarchal figure who needs a little bit of extra care. There will be some love affairs in amongst there from a nephew of the owner, from the lawyer of the author, as they start to almost vie for her affections, and her long-winded drivel of how she is toiled between these two men.
I made you something.
For me? Gabriel.
For the longest while, is deeply uninteresting, is deeply drawn out, and just nothing that really made me want to sit up and pay attention. I was itching for something to happen because it's so protracted. In a movie that's 82 minutes, it is a vast hour before anything starts to kick in. And by the time it kicks in, I'm just checked out. I wasn't interested in what was happening in the movie. I didn't like any of the characters. I didn't like the main protagonist because she just seemed whiny, deeply uninteresting.
My mother is mentally ill.
Pity.
The lawyer was an aggressive bully at times. The nephew character was a bully but more aloof with that. The patriarchal figure of the house was basically pointless in my eyes. It's a movie that really just dragged out, and it commits the cardinal sin for me, being boring. There is many things that I can stomach as long as there is something that you can latch onto and go, this is why I like because of this or whatever. But this movie just didn't interest me at all. It feels more like a melodrama for the first hour. It does pick up and become more interesting in the last 20 minutes, but by that point it's too late to salvage what has been a torrid time to get to that finale.
Hey, what's going on?
Now, the last 20 minutes are really good. It ramps things up. It does some interesting story facets. It really tries to throw in the blood and guts and gore and create a manic, rushed finale, which is great. But at that point, when you have zero interest in any of the characters, zero interest in any of the love stories, and I've already checked out, by that point, it's hard to muster anything other than, oh, thank God something's happening. Oh, I'm so happy that something's happening. I'll be even happier when I see the credits at the end of this one. I feel bad because it's not a poorly made movie. It's got some good performances. It's got good production standards. It seems to have a kind of grasp on what it wants to do. It's just unfortunate that what it wants to do is really kind of boring. And by the time things ramp up, like I said, it's almost like a change in what the movie wants to be, because up until that point it has been very much just this melancholic nurse looking after people, trying to figure out which one of these two guys she really wants to go with, and the answer is, who cares? I didn't. I found this a bit of a slog. It does have the other title of Delusion on this one, which is great because VS are deluding us into thinking that this is an entertaining film. Not for me. And It's just sometimes you get like that. If I at least tried something early on, I may have been more interested. I just couldn't get into this one. Boring. I would love to know your thoughts on the film. You may have loved it. If so, tell me why in the comment box below. Give another opinion that may highlight some attributes that it has that I have shunned. Second opinions are always good. As always, there is more content up here if you want to see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to the Patreon, membership program, and manvfilm.com, always in which you can support me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.